overall, I still think that this is a good product, especially considering that there's multiple secreting organs and a lot of protein variety. And that's actually what my mom's cat Ash is eating right now. He's a little piggy. Hey friends, it's Jess Jericho, and the first Acana product that we'll look at is the lamb and lamb liver recipe. So the pros here is the word recipe in the product name. That tells us that the lamb and lamb liver composition is between 25 and 94.9% combined, compared to a product that's called with lamb and lamb liver or lamb and lamb liver flavor. This word recipe is going to have more of those named ingredients. Now, looking at the ingredients, the first 7 ingredients are all meat-based, and there's a variety of proteins. So there's lamb, chicken, and there's beef. So this is a pro because there's a lot of protein variety, but I might slide in a con here because if you only look at the product name in the front of the can, you would have no idea that there's beef and chicken in this product. So that's why it's important to read all aspects of the label and also to understand what everything means. Because at first glance, if you just look at the front of the can and just buy right then and there, you would have no idea about the other ingredients, and maybe your cat doesn't like beef, doesn't like chicken. So again, read the entire label, please. Another pro here is that all the ingredients are specifically named. So lamb liver, lamb kidney, and there's also 2 secreting organs. So there's lamb kidney, there's lamb liver, and there's chicken liver. So again, we have variety in both proteins and in the secreting organs, which is great. They also say that there's meat broth instead of water sufficient for processing. Of course, water and moisture is essential for life, but if you're using the broth, then you're going to have some minerals and other additions more than just the moisture, which is great. Another pro here is that there's no fish. It's around 10% carbs on a dry matter basis, which is the cutoff for the max amount that you want to see. It could be higher, it could be lower, that's just an approximate. So a con here to this product is the protein to fat ratio. Ideally, you would have half the amount of fat compared to protein, but lamb in general is just a fattier meat, so that's to be expected. Pumpkin is probably what's providing the carbs. There's locust bean gum and guar gum. Those are thickening agents that most wet foods add so that it maintains that pate shape. And another con is that there's a long list of synthetic nutrients, and frankly, this is a con with every type of commercial cat food. So overall, I still think that this is a good product, especially considering that there's multiple secreting organs and a lot of protein variety. And that's actually what my mom's cat Ash is eating right now. He's a little piggy. So far, I've only seen it online and at Petco, so let us know in the comments where you've seen Acana wet cat food so more people know where to buy it. The next product that we'll take a look at is their beef, chicken, and tuna recipe. So the pros here again is that word recipe, but right here we have 3 different proteins that are named in that product. So those 3 proteins have between 25 and 94.9% combined. In this one, the first 6 ingredients are all meat ingredients, and there's protein variety, beef, chicken, tuna, and then salmon oil as well. When we use the guaranteed analysis to get an approximate number of carbs, it comes out to 0, even though there's pumpkin in it. So maybe there's a very small amount. But again, those numbers are always approximate. Now, cons here is that there's a lot of fish, and cats, it's a con because cats often develop an addiction to fish, and this is what causes picky eating. And just like the previous product, there's a lot of synthetic nutrients. The next Acana wet cat food that we'll look at is chicken and tuna recipe. Pros here again is the word recipe. The first 5 ingredients are all meat-based proteins. This one includes liver, and it also has 0% carbs, which is great. Chicken broth instead of water. It also has an ideal protein to fat ratio. 7 is kind of close to half the amount of 10, so that's good. And cats use fat for energy. So the cons here, again, it includes fish, which can cause picky eating. Additionally, it says fish bone broth instead of clarifying which type of fish. It clarifies that there's tuna in it, as that's the second ingredient, but then when it comes to fish bone broth, it just says fish bone broth. What kind of fish? So literally could be any type of fish. So that's a con because you want to make sure you know exactly what's in your cat's food. And just as the previous products, there are the thickening agents and lots of synthetic nutrients. Give me a polydactyl thumbs up if this is helpful so far, so more cat parents looking to upgrade their wet cat food can find this video. Thanks so much. The next Acana wet cat food we'll review is salmon and chicken recipe. This one has recipe just like the other ones. The first 5 ingredients are all meat-based proteins, so that's a big pro. Again, they're using chicken broth instead of just water, and chicken liver is included. Cons here, the approximate carb amount on a dry matter basis is 15%, again, likely coming from the pumpkin. There's too much fish, just like the previous one, and fish bone broth is not specific. Again, you want to make sure you're looking at specifically named ingredients. They could have said salmon bone broth instead of fish bone broth, since it's called salmon and chicken recipe, but they just said fish bone broth. So if they don't know what kind of fish they use, it's probably not the best quality. And again, the long list of synthetic nutrients, again, that's a con with every type of commercial cat food. Acana has another wet cat food that's called tuna and chicken recipe. This one has the same pros and cons as the other ones, but with this one, the cons definitely outweigh the pros, because with this product, the fish is named before the other ingredient. And the first one that's named is going to have more than the second ingredient that's named in the product. So I would suggest lamb and lamb liver, beef, chicken, and tuna recipe instead. Acana has another wet cat food that's called chicken and fish recipe. Now this one has a non-descriptive fish in the product's name. So previously we saw chicken and salmon or chicken and tuna. This one just says chicken and fish. So we have no idea what type of fish is within that composition range. But maybe because they already have a product called chicken and tuna, that's why they named this one chicken and fish, because if you look at the ingredients, there is tuna named in the ingredients. But I will say a pro here that this specific one has, and the other ones did not have, is heart. So this one includes chicken heart. The previous products that we looked at doesn't include heart. So I would say if you need one extra can for variety, this one is better than the other ones containing fish. And last month I reviewed Orijen wet cat food. Now they both have wet cat food options. You can check out that video right over Mia. Thanks for watching. That tells us that lamb and lamb liver